Hello, my name is Jackie Gruber. I am a white European settler of Jewish descent, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm also the Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion at Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. We know that diversity in healthcare promotes more culturally responsive care and provides access to care for underserved populations. We need to address health disparities and cultivate diversity in our healthcare workforce. Selection committees that lack diversity can introduce opportunities for unconscious bias in decision making. Implicit bias and structural racism play a central role in the development of healthcare disparities. So it is my pleasure to be speaking to you today about equity, diversity, and inclusion in the search process, a dialogue on implicit bias. I also want to recognize that we are on Treaty 1 territories. So we're located on the original lands of the Anishinaabeg, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Inuit, and Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis Nations. We respect the treaties that are made on the territories, acknowledge the harms of the past and present, and dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. So whenever I hear or read statements on land acknowledgements, I always like to think, what does that mean to me? So for me, it means locating myself on the land as a white European settler. It means learning about the true histories of the past and the present that continue to exist. It means also taking the Manitoba Indigenous Cultural Safety Training and then listening more than speaking. So when these land acknowledgements are being read, think to yourself, what does that mean to you? So I really like this quote from Brian Stevenson. So diversity doesn't happen by itself. Inclusion and greater empathy don't happen by themselves. We have to work at them and commit ourselves even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. And we have to be mindful of this as we struggle to move forward on the many challenging issues of equity that face our country. And so I always like to refer back to, at Rady Faculty of Health Sciences, we have our equity, diversity, and inclusion policy, which really talks about our goals that we represent the population that we serve in Manitoba. And we need only look around in our community to know that we have many strides to make in that regard as well. So thinking about biases, I'd like to examine today, why do I have biases? What can I do to address my biases? And then finish off with, what do you have a responsibility to do as well? And in particular, how this relates to the search process. And then also a great reminder is this quote that we do not see things as they are, we see things as we are. And so this is a reminder to myself as I go about my day. I'm coming from my own personal experiences, history, upbringing, and I can't assume the other individual I'm engaging with has the same experiences as well. So I really like this reminder. And then finally, a cartoon. If I tell you it's a sign of affection, then it's a sign of affection. I can't help it if you're flammable. And so to me, this is really thinking about the barrier is our thought processes. The barrier is our thinking in the past. And what can we do to change it? So it's not that the person's flammable, but it's our thinking that thinks that as well. So really, when we talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion, really, what do we mean? And so I'm just going to review the definitions taken specifically from our EDI policy as well. So equity talks about the guarantee of fair treatment, access, and opportunity and advancement for everyone in our community, while at the same time we strive to identify and eliminate barriers that have prevented the full participation of underrepresented groups. So you'll see at the bottom there's 3 posters. This first one is equality, and everyone is provided with the same box, and those who still have the same box, they are not able to see over the fence. So not everyone's able to see over the fence. The second poster is equity, so those who need an extra box to see over provided that as well. But we really want to get to justice, and that's the third poster, where we look at the fence and you can see through it. So not everyone even needs to consider having a box. And that's what I meant earlier on when we think about the barrier being our thinking. So if we can think and consider this in the planning stages at the outset, then we don't need to consider it later. And it's just good practice as well. So diversity includes all the ways in which people differ, encompasses different characteristics, worldviews, and personal experiences and values. And inclusion is the act of creating an environment in which people feel welcomed, respected, supported, and valued to be able to fully participate as well. And so we want to get to that sense of belonging in our community too. So we think about principles of EDI, well really, why do they matter? So principles of EDI promote a diverse community, innovation in curricula and research as well, a greater understanding of Indigenous knowledge, cultures, and traditions. It also talks about a dialogue and collaboration and outreach with communities within and who are also external at the university. So when we have diversity plus inclusion combined together, we know that this increases quality and excellence in our work and learning environment. We know that diversity of thought leads to more innovation and creativity. There's so much research out there that talks about more diverse teams produce better results, make better decisions, and more timely as well. So EDI promotes and supports an environment that embraces equity, diversity, and inclusion within our college as well, and is reflective of the community that we serve. So just going to pause for a moment. We have this video coming up. It's the first link. It's by Sallie Krawcheck. She's CEO and co-founder of Elvest and author of Own It, The Power of Women at Work. And so usually when I do this in person, I play the first just over 2 minutes. So this is a video that we'll just pause for you to explore on your own.